Hey YouTube, thank you for joining me. I am your host Duchess, where we discuss all things relatable in our little small YouTube community that I am trying to grow. Before we get started, please refer to YouTube's Fair Use Act for all things content, copyright protected, commentary, informational, educational, all the pieces under that umbrella. Let's refer to the Fair Use Act and hope and pray that I am on the up and up, which I am. So we're back for Sisters Season 7, Episode 14. Y'all, I told y'all Andy may be on her way. She better stop playing around with Gary. Dani should have listened. She should have listened. Zach and Aaron, I'm concerned they may eventually get into a girl fight over this this pregnancy situation. And Fatima, we just gonna keep the light on for her. We just gonna keep the light on for our girl Fatima. She hanging in there though, and I can't blame her. So anyway, this season opens up with Andy and Jordan. They are at the police station with the intent to report Penelope missing. And of course, as we found out in the last episode, Gary has beat them to the punch and pointing a finger at Andy. So emotions are high. Jordan wants to know where his sister is, and he is about to get into Gary's ink. And Gary's unbothered because you know he's got that psycho gene going on. But before things get heated, the detective pulls Gary aside and says, "Hey, you haven't told me, you haven't given us everything," or something like that. And he pulls him into a room. I'm like, what is that about? Andy is trying to send Jordan home. She realizes that this is not a good look. He is a politician. He's just coming off a scandal. Let me give the information that's needed and I'll follow up with you later. Just as she's doing that, this gentleman comes up. He is good looking, y'all. Good looking gentleman, but asked Andy if she could come with him. Could he have a conversation with her? Turns out he is an FBI agent investigating Gary, and they want Andy's help to testify against him. In exchange, they will use their resources to help find Penelope. Andy is reluctant. She don't know anything about his dealings. And before she can go into her spiel, the detective reminds Andy, or informs Andy, that's probably a better term. He informs Andy that, listen, we know all about you and Gary's relationship, including your financial relationship and that condo that he bought you with illegal funds. Yeah, we know all the tea. So it would be best for you to work with us. Gandhi, girl. Andy says she'll give it some thought, and she's able to leave. So next we are looking at Zach and Fatima. Baby, Fatima been up since 3 o'clock in the morning researching how did this woman get pregnant by 2 men at the same time. Turns out it really is a thing. It's a small percentage that only Karen can pull off, and yes, she did. So she and Zach get into this conversation. Like, Zach's plans are to have a conversation with Karen, set up a trust for his baby, and Aaron can take care of his child. And I understand Zach. I really do. But going down that road, Zach, I would be concerned about how your child feels about you not caring for the well-being of his sibling. Like, I understand the whole piece of not wanting to take care of what's not your responsibility and dealing with all the drama around that and only want to look out for your seed. But even as I'm saying that, it just feels really petty, and there are children involved. And I mean, you made the deposit knowing that, you made a deposit, bruh. One hitter, quitter. And Fatima is encouraging him to do the right thing. Like, no, you got 3 kids now. You got these twins and you have the little boy. I can't think of his name right now, and this is how you need to be looking at it. And if I was in Fatima's shoes, I would have to agree. Like, when you think about what that will do for the siblings and their life and, you know, the whole family dynamic and growing up and all of that, like, as a child, you would not understand why your daddy won't, you know, it's kind of isolating your sibling. And sibling bonds are strong enough. So when you get into twins, yeah, he might want to tread carefully. Of course, Zach is not looking forward to co-parenting with Aaron. But that's the deal, Zach. You got to deal with it, bro. So Zach is on his way to visit a lawyer about getting his money back from Gary with some type of investment deal that they had going on. And he calls Karen while he's driving and gives her the rundown on what he plans to do for his child, and opens the subject of my half versus Aaron's half. And Karen immediately cuts him off, like, my children will not be raised separately. And she has a bit of an attitude like, we're here now, so deal with it. It is annoying. The entitlement is annoying. Like, the real deal Holyfield, taking emotions out, taking morals out of the situation. He's really not responsible. And you have to take responsibility for your actions as well. So the kind of, you know, entitlement along with the attitude, I'm not feeling. And that will make someone be spiteful just to prove to you that you can't force them to do something, like you know, or to even punish her for getting them in this situation. Even as I say that, he got himself in that situation because he chose to leave that deposit. And there was many ways that could have been handled to where this wouldn't even be a conversation. Right. So I would just like to see, when women are in these situations, even when it's not so much as like, you know, twins, but you have a child by one man and the other one has a child by another, like, how they say you get more flies with honey, like, appeal to him from the perspective of how their child will feel and how much better emotionally it will be if we can work together and support these kids, and show some appreciation versus all of the friction. Like, I wasn't feeling it, but she's right to advocate for her babies. I'm not knocking her for that. They're all adults. They made the decisions. This is where they are. So she is right to advocate for both of her children. As a mother, that's what she's supposed to do. For me, I would be doing the same. I just think it would go over better to have a softer approach, a less aggressive approach. Anyway, meanwhile, Andy and Fatima are in the office, and although Karen asked for everyone to keep the news in the room and allow her to tell it, Fatima can't hold it because she's frustrated, and I understand that. So she gives Andy the real about the paternity test, that Zach is the father and he is not the father, because he is the father of one. She's frustrated. She's just shocked that this could happen. I totally get it. So right there with her. Andy tells her about her visit at the police station. And she also shares with her about how the FBI approached her about the investigation piece. Fatima warns her to not work with them. This is how they manipulate people. You could be caught up in this situation. They can turn everything that you say around and put it on you. And Fatima's kind of right. Even when Andy told her, well, listen, they're going to help me find Penelope. They can use their resources to find out what happened to Penelope. And Fatima's like, yeah, that's another trick, dangling the carrot of something that you want just so they can get what they need from you. I wouldn't trust it. And she reminds Andy of her family, who has a lot to deal with, the sophisticated law in the pharmaceutical area and probably some other areas, like kind of like cartelish energy that her family has going on. And so, I think Andy will take that under advisement, but we have to see what she's gonna do about it. Over at Sabrina's job, the bank, where she and her best friend Maurice are back working together. They've completely reset. Sabrina's still his manager, and Maurice is still the employee that would probably not be still employed if his friend was not his manager. Anyway, I get so annoyed with this whole dynamic because it's unrealistic. Like, he caused you to lose your job, you get your job back, and then you advocate to bring him back to the same company. And I get the whole friend piece and standing up for your friend, but help him get a job somewhere else. Like, this cannot end well, because of course he and this coworker are not getting along. Granted, she is doing way too much and being unprofessional and antagonizing. And when Maurice gets with her and let her know she should be trying meth because it's on her par, it's on her brand, it's on her label, not trying Maurice, she want to run the HR. And it's just like, it's exhausting. It's just exhausting. He goes in to tell Sabrina. He's like, I'm going to go tell just before you can say anything. So he go in and tell Sabrina about the issue. Of course, Sabrina listens. She doesn't do anything. She's in there trying to give herself another injection to freeze these eggs. And Maurice helps her. And I am just like, this is all wrong. But we're in Tyler Perry land. This is TV. So there's that. Meanwhile, Karen and Pam, her assistant Pam, are at the salon doing salon type things. Karen notices that Pam has put more of her products out, and Pam is like, don't fret, girl, you gotta keep it in front of everybody's face. That's part of branding, that's part of marketing. Pam has started her own kind of hair care line or beauty line or some sort of line that she is also marketing in the salon. So Pam notices that Karen seems tired and that she must have had a long night. She teases her about the guy, Trey, who's interested in her. And of course, Karen is not interested. She is really, really pregnant and has even more, complications, social complications with her pregnancy regarding the paternity. She hasn't shared that with Pam yet. But she kind of refutes the idea that Trey kept her up. So Pam is really encouraging her to take this guy up for his offer. He's fine. He has a good job and he smells great. That's the bar. Y'all, that's the bar. Never mind. Anyway. I just found it interesting that that's the bar, and that's yeah. If he's fine, he looks good, he has a good job, and he smells good, girl, just go and spend the night with him. Okay. In walks Aaron. So Karen quickly lets him know, hey, you need to call before you just stop by. Baby, you ain't stopping this man now. The way she had to fight to get him off of her the last time, with this, even with her being pregnant and all of that, like, she really had to fight to get her space from Aaron. And you can tell he is back in full effect, girl. Ain't nothing gonna keep this man from stopping by and checking on you. She also learns that he is a silent partner, a silent investor in Pam's business. And for Karen, it's like, I thought I asked you to kind of keep your distance from me, and this feels like a way for you to just stay connected. And Aaron's like, no, she asked me. I thought it was a good idea. You and I weren't really speaking like that anyway, so I didn't mention it to you. And so here I am. I'm not buying it. Y'all, something is not right with Aaron. He does give stalker vibes. I just think it's weird. And yeah, something's just not right about Aaron. Anyway, she lets Aaron know about Zach's phone call and the separation of the babies. And Aaron says he's going to talk to Zach. Of course, she doesn't want him to. But, girl, if you didn't want him to, then why you tell him? So, anyway. Next, Zach is at the basketball court. He's shooting around playing basketball where he hangs out. And in comes Aaron. He's like, man, what do you want? Like, everywhere I am, you want to be. You're even in her uterus when I'm in there. Like, what do you want? You stalking me? And thinking, yeah, Zach, he may be stalking you too. So they get into this conversation where, listen, I want to work this thing out with you. Like, we're in this together. He also tells Zach that he's prepared to take care of these kids, even if he doesn't step up. And something about the way that he said that, it felt threatening. Like, I'm like, is Aaron going to try to, like, push Zach out and make him be a problem so he can have the kids to himself? Like I said, my antenna goes up about this Aaron guy. He's a bit much. Zach is trying to maintain his composure and not get upset. Like he said, he's working on himself, and he is in therapy, and he ain't trying to knock him out, because Zach is quick to punch somebody in the face. But they're back and forth about Karen. Like, Zach is taking digs at him for sticking up for Karen, and I wonder if you're over her, you're in this relationship with Fatima, you're marrying Fatima. Like, why do you care about Aaron advocating for her, or even Superman caping for her? Like, I don't get that, and I hope Zach doesn't mess this entire situation up with Fatima. But he acts like a jealous ex versus an appreciative ex that she's moved on. Anyway, he reminds Aaron, like, don't you have 2 kids of your own? Like, what are you talking about? Y'all, Aaron says, yes, I do. I had forgotten about that. He doesn't have custody of his kids. The grandmother have custody of the kids. And the grandmother has turned the kids against him to where they won't speak to him. So, I know something happened with his wife. I know that she had a demise. I don't know if it was self-demise, or it was kind of like they was looking at him for doing it, but they couldn't really prove it. Like, it's something around that with his wife. But isn't it interesting that he doesn't have, like, his wife died, however she died, and he doesn't have custody of his children. He would like to have custody of his children by how he responded with, I didn't do anything wrong there, but I want to be here for these kids, and have a new start. Like, he knows that he's not allowed to contact them. He doesn't even try, and that's just what it is. I find that odd, and that just puts another notch in my case, in my Aaron is a nut job bucket. I think we're going to see some drama with Aaron this season, y'all. But who knows, Tyler like to spread things out. We may be in season 37 before we see what's going on with Aaron. If we ever do, but that's my thought. So, Zach decides to leave and keep his composure, not go there with him. He's going to leave and go on about his business and let Aaron have it. And Aaron is laughing, like he's antagonizing him and laughing. And some of it is like, oh, Zach is so silly, But the other piece of it is he is enjoying that way too much. We're going to put Aaron over there in the Gary bucket. They're both nuts. And they actually have a background together. Anyway. Next, Karen is closing the shop. The young guy who is interested in her that Pam was talking about, he comes in. He wants to take her on a date. I think it's the second time he's asked to take her out. She declines. She's very pregnant and also finds it weird that he's very interested in her. So he respects her honesty and they resolve to keep their relationship very professional. Come in delivery, spread the good energy, and keep it moving. Next, Dani and Sabrina are at Dani's apartment. Dani wants to spill the tea about Karen, but she wants to honor Karen's request not to tell anyone. So she gets her in a game of charades, have her guess it. And girl, Dani, you didn't have to do all of that. Fatima had already put it out the bag anyway. It's going to come out. Like, if you want to tell it, just tell it. But I guess she needed that for her conscience. In walks Toni with these pink handcuffs that his daughter came home with from Dani's apartment from that babysitting episode that they just had. And he wants to know, how did she find them? Why does she have them? Why didn't you watch her? Dani's like, listen, the girl was going through my stuff. Look, the girl is about 11 years old. She knows better. But she was going through my stuff. In my defense, you guys were here when I came home. I didn't have time to straighten up. I told y'all Karen Dani does not have a kid-friendly apartment. Dani is a very grown, young, adult woman who doesn't have any children, nor husband. So, honey, you may find anything in her apartment. He is going in, calling her irresponsible. She was supposed to watch them. He's very disappointed in her. And I was so glad when Dani was like, listen, you can just go. You gonna put me out? Yes. Because I already explained the situation and it's not going anywhere. What you're not gonna do is come in here and tell me about basically arguing with me when you should be mad at your daughter for not knowing how to behave in somebody else's house. So go. She put him out. And I was glad, because I think he was wrong. And I was getting annoyed by the line of questioning. Like, dude, really? So kudos to you, Dani. And girl, this is why I said you should have had somebody else to do it. Now you done lost your man, but he got too much going on with them kids anyway. Y'all wasn't gonna make it. I didn't say they broke up. They have not broken up. But she might as well, because this is not gonna work. Last scene. Jordan is sitting in his car. It's late. Andy calls him. They're on speaker. She is concerned. She's been trying to reach him all day. She know that he was upset. Like, where are you? And she's like, I'm on my way to your apartment. He's telling her that he is going to, he will meet her there. And just as he's saying that, child, the back door opens and Gary pops in his car. Because, of course, Jordan has been stalking him all day, following him. And Gary has caught on to him. And he is in the backseat of his car. And he's like, is that my itch bay on the line? Y'all, Gary make me so sick. But that's where it ends. At least we know that he didn't kill this boy, because he's threatening him in the next, like how they do the premiere of the next episode. He's threatening him, telling him if he ever finds him following him again, that he will make sure he is the one missing next. And yeah, Jordan, you might want to take him up on that. This man is not wrapped too tight. But that is Sisters. That's this episode. You guys tell me what you think. I think last episode was better. This one just kind of, it's Sisters. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this review. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about with it, but I did the best I could. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you like the content, please throw your girl a like, comment, let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.